Thank you. Thank you. I've got a presentation which we'll get to at some point, but figured to come up and usually end with a bunch of questions, but we still can after the presentation. But I'd love to start in 1 second. But first of all, glad to be here. I enjoy doing these. I really do. And part of it is, for me, always knowing my dad's story. My dad was a longtime football coach, coordinator in college and in the NFL, but he started as a substitute teacher, and then went from substitute teacher to thinking about getting out of teaching until they told him, well, you know, you can make a couple extra dollars if you help coach the football team. And so he started coaching football, high school football, junior college football, and then went on to college, et cetera. But this is where it starts. Coaching high school football, coaching young people, and thankfully for me, knowing my dad's story, my dad was a teacher, my mother was a teacher, and my sister is a teacher. And that's how I approach my job. I'm a teacher and a mentor. And the X's and O's, hey, we'll do the best job we can there, but teach young people what it is to be successful. And so many people nowadays see the end result of football games and the confetti after national championships, et cetera, and that's the goal. That's part of the goal for me. That's part of the goal. But you got to have a day-to-day goal. And the day-to-day goal is to teach and mentor these young people that are growing up in a world that is confusing to them and to us. This world that's always connected and cares so much about what other people think as opposed to what's right and what's wrong. So once again, I enjoy these sessions, enjoy talking about football, enjoy talking about the mentality of successful people. I remind my assistant coaches and my players all the time, when we meet as a team, I will talk so much more about life than I do about football. Because I believe if we train them to think like successful people, be process-oriented, what's the next best thing for me to do in order to try to get the result that I want to get, then we keep them grounded in reality, keep them grounded in hard work and effort and teamwork and doing what's right and realizing that those things, when we have enough guys doing the right things, we'll eventually win. So it's really about building the mentality of winning before you win. But anyway, enough of that. Until we get this thing fixed here. Anybody have any questions about anything? Football, non-football, just having a quiet conversation amongst friends for now. Anybody in the room play with a fullback? 4 hands, 5 hands, 6. Offense, defense, special teams, anything. Throw something at me. Christian McCaffrey questions. Andrew Luck questions. What? Do I think Christian McCaffrey's a first-round pick? I do believe so, yes. The reason for me, and I think it'll become more evident over the next couple of weeks, there's one thing that is so vital that gets overlooked in high school, college, and the NFL by the masses to a certain degree, and that's versatility. He's rare. He's going to run in the 4.4s, and he'll probably be mad if I said that because he thinks he's going to run the 4.3s. He's going to run the 4.4s most likely. He's going to have a high vertical. He's going to test between the ears off the charts. He's brilliant. Understands the game. He's very mature, and he is the most competitive sucker that you'll find. He can run routes like a receiver. He can catch the ball like a receiver. He can run the ball between the tackles like a running back. He's 206, 207 pounds, but he's going to hit you like he's 240. That's just who he is. And the kid has never failed at anything. Because you're also talking about a kid that's, 2-time academic All-American. And the academic All-American of the year this past year. Not just an All-American, and the academic All-American of the year, nationally. So he doesn't know anything but success. So I'm excited for him. I think wherever he goes, they're going to find out more and more things that they can do with him. And I'm looking forward to watching it. Yes?
Talk a little bit the pluses and minuses to Stanford specifically and recruiting and a position like that.
Pluses and minuses about recruiting for Stanford, and that's a hard one for me because I've brainwashed myself that there are no minuses. And the reason why I say it that way is no matter where you are, you find out who you are and you find out what you can do, and you see how it works for you. The reason why I say that is so many people say, Stanford has these academic restrictions. I said, no, we have academic standards. So, and I have no problem saying it. I think before Coach Harbaugh got there, after Coach Willingham, there were 2 coaches that came in that were really good football coaches that had success, and one continues to have success other places. But you have to dive into the culture at Stanford and what's important. What's important is that we never ever violate those academic standards. So for me, I remind our coaches every year, we're looking for the guys that fit us. We're not going to cry about a kid that's a great athlete that can't come to us because he's not for us. We've proven that we're going to win with our guys. So we find kids, and once again, I've been around this sport my entire life. You find kids that are smart, you find kids that are tough, you find kids that are work hard and work together, you can beat anybody, anywhere, anytime. So that's our mentality. So we're looking for those guys, and I have no problem saying it. We go into a school, I remind we have one new coach that's going to get, but the rest of our guys have been doing it for a couple of years now. We go into a school, I want to hear the same things from everybody. I want to hear how tough he is from the coach, how much of a leader he is from the coach. From the counselor, I want to hear that he's one of her favorite students. He's in there all the time because he cares about academics, and he has these high standards and goals for himself. I want to hear from the teachers, I want to hear from the people around him, because what some people see as the negative, that our recruiting pool is like this, or other people's recruiting pools are like this. The positive about our recruiting pool being small, we get to know our guys better. Like we offered, as far as Division I colleges, we offered the least amount of scholarships in the nation last year, and ended up with a top 15 class. We don't need to offer a whole bunch of guys. We're looking for specific things. It's got to be academic, it's got to be athletic, and it's got to be character. Turned away multiple 5-star guys that are great players and even good students, but they weren't the kind of guy they were looking for. Everything, and everybody says it, not everybody believes in it, but everybody says it. But I believe it. And that's the way I explain it. We win football games when the guys on the field trust each other and play well together, which means we've got to have a strong locker room. Because when the game starts, I'm on the sideline. We like to have the illusion of control as coaches. Our control is during the week. We have minimal control on game day. Game day, it's about the guys on the field. They do what they're coached, they do what they're trained to do, they trust each other. You have trouble when there's no trust in the football team because you got a couple bad character guys. And now one other guy says, I don't know if he's going to do his job, so now I have to do his job and do my job. Now we're lost. We lost. We lost. In the back, yes. The question is my ultimate goal to coach in the NFL. So a lot of people forget about with me, because my name comes up every year in the NFL jobs, which is fine. I don't mind that. I tell our guys it's because we're winning, because we're running a great program. People forget I coached 9 years in the NFL. So the NFL doesn't hold that mystery for me and that challenge that I got to go meet that challenge. For me, once again, we've won 3 Pac-12 championships in this decade. Nobody thought that could happen. If we can find a way to win a national championship at Stanford University with engineers and doctors and lawyers and entrepreneurs in an era where people say, you know what, you can't do it at the academic schools, that to me is more significant than winning a Super Bowl. I believe that. when I took over the job at my alma mater, part of the reason why you do things at Stanford is to influence other people. So by us continuing to win, it's already happened a couple places. Where, one of my goals is for athletic directors to go to head coaches and say, hold on a second, you keep telling me we need to lower our academic standards so you can get better players, but we got beat by a team that has high academic standards. What kind of sense does that make? So that's part of our goal, winning, graduating our guys, but then influencing other places. Say, you know what? Don't lower your standards. Don't lower your academic standards. Raise your academic standards. Because guess what? Most of us know this about young people. When you raise the standards for them, once they get done complaining, they try to meet them. You lower the standards for them, hey, you make it easy on them. That's not what successful people are about. Successful people want high academic standards. They want high standards in everything that they do. I tell a lot of stories about a lot of people because I've been fortunate enough to witness and be around some great ones. One just became the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers, and John Lynch. John Lynch is one of those guys, everything he's ever done, he's been successful because he has the mentality that he is going to work and talk to people and learn and grow and then challenge himself. Not looking for the easy way. I was fortunate enough to spend 2 years with Deion Sanders, the Baltimore Ravens. Had been retired and came back, and everybody thought, okay, here comes just showtime. He's going to show up and just try to be. Nobody was in the meeting room longer. Nobody studied more film. It's one of those things that wasn't told about the greatest corner of all time. He taught those young guys there how to study, because greatness is not an accident. It's a result of great talent and great work ethic and attention to detail. At the same time, I was with Ray Lewis for 4 years. There used to be a party at Ray's house Thursday night. I heard about the party at Ray's house. I rolled my eyes like, oh my goodness, what's that party going to be like? It was a film watching party. Ray brought all the defensive guys to his house to watch film. He'd order pizza and soda, and they had a great time, but they watched film because it was important to them. So once again, just trying to impress upon young people what it takes to be great. And for us, one of our things at Stanford is, we go to Stanford to lead. Go to Stanford to do things that maybe, hopefully, can be extraordinary. So my goals for us is to win at Stanford. Yes? That's great. The best thing to do to prepare high school players for the next level is to get them ready to compete. There's a problem right now in our recruiting that is caused by college coaches. And the best way I can explain it is use an old term. The term is ass kissing. And it's awful. So we got a lot of high school kids coming into college that think that they are just going to be superstars. So many college coaches right now are just recruiting off the NFL. Hey, you're going to come to us, you're going to win all these awards, we're going to win a national championship, and you're going to the NFL. Well, they skipped all those parts where it's actually really, really hard to go from high school to college. There's a lot of work. And guess what? There are 100 guys on that team already before you step foot on campus. And they're working their tails off. And they don't want you to take their job. So you got a lot of high school kids that come in and they're just shocked that, wait, I thought I was the superstar. How come everybody's not moving out of my way so I can just step in the starting role? We've had a couple guys that we've recruited that have committed to us, that have come to Stanford, and they tell us later part of the reason why is because we're honest with them. Never told a single kid ever that he was going to start. Never told a single kid ever that he was going to play as a freshman. I've told most of them they're going to redshirt. There's a good chance they're going to redshirt. Honesty is great. Honesty sets up their path. There's when my wife got pregnant with our first child, we, of course, had no idea what we're doing, like anybody, like everybody. And I'll never forget the best piece of advice that we got, which was start as you mean to go on. Right? So however you want to be later in life with your children, start that way. Same thing when you recruit a kid. You can't switch it on them. You can't be one way during the recruiting process and be something else when they get to your campus. Once again, speaking from my perspective. So that's the biggest thing for me, is to realize, hey, if you've got the talent and these college coaches are coming to you, great. Don't believe all the flowery stuff. Go to a place that's going to fit you academically, a place that fits you socially, and a place where you're going to have a chance to come in and compete. Don't say win. Don't say be the guy. Don't say win Heisman trophies and national championships. I'm going to go in and have a chance to compete. I want to compete. I want to compete. I'm going to compete. Right? So their mentality is set that they're going to have to fight for everything that they get, because the next year they're going to bring in another young superstar and then another young superstar. And the great programs, that's what they do. The other thing I remind them too, and you try not to hold against some college coaches, but when you tell a kid who's going to start, when you go to that place and now you're on that team, they're telling the next kid he's going to start too. So, you know, there's a lot of competition, and these guys seem to forget that. Are we good? That's one of my favorite pictures. It's actually on the left there. That's my dad in 1975, coaching at Stanford. That's me, wearing the number 12 jersey. And then many years later, that's me and my family on the right. So, as was said during the introduction, it is a personal thing for me working at Stanford. Any other questions before we get started? Thank you, everybody, by the way, for getting that done there. All right, let's jump into it. Our balanced offensive attack. Had a little bit of a dip this year for us, numbers-wise. But as a head coach, I'm going to tell you this, I don't care about 90% of stats. Okay, the stats that I care about are honestly the same for both sides of the ball. First down efficiency. Third down efficiency. Red zone touchdown efficiency. Not just red zone efficiency. Kick a whole bunch of field goals, you're going to lose. Red zone touchdown efficiency, offensively and defensively. Third down efficiency, offense, defense, first down efficiency. Why? Because first down efficiency affects third down efficiency. Third down efficiency affects whether or not you have the football. And if you're good on third down efficiency, you're going to get to the red zone a lot. If you score touchdowns in the red zone, you win. Those are the three most important things. Turnovers, absolutely, turnovers are huge. Those are obvious. But as far as the statistics, so we didn't throw for a lot of yards. Christian McCaffrey didn't have the same amount of yards that he had the year before. Still had a whole bunch of yards. But we ended up with 10 wins. We won 10 football games without the statistical higher statistics that you're used to seeing. Because we play the game the right way. We play it smart. We play it together. So we're talking about our balanced offensive attack here. So for us now, I like to start with 4 questions. What are our base concepts, run and pass? Okay, that's just what are we walking in with? What are the things that are simple for us, that are basic for us? And you'll always have things off of those, but we have to have a core. We have to have something that we believe in, that we can preach and teach, and will be who we are. Limit those concepts so we can teach technique and not scheme. If you're finding yourselves, especially in the middle of the season, teaching guys what to do all the time, because we changed this scheme, we changed that scheme, and now we're going to do this. Oh, we saw somebody else do this, we're going to try this. You find yourself doing that so much, your efficiency will go down. And I'm all about efficiency. You know, I'm a West Coast baby. You know, played for Bill Walsh, coached with John Gruden. You know, I believe in it. It's all about efficiency. Efficiency leads to explosiveness. Some people think it goes the other way around. Efficiency leads to explosiveness. And if we're teaching so much scheme, we lose the technique. We have to work technique all the time. Where do my hands go? What's my footwork? What depth is this route? How do I drop my shoulders? Should be teaching a lot of technique and working on technique. If you're working on scheme, the technique falters and guys get beat and you lose football games. So for me, keep our concepts simple and basic so we can teach technique, not scheme. Second question, how many ways can we change the look? We are going to run the power play. It's who we are. We know it. The team we're playing knows it. Everybody in the stands knows it. The referees know it. But now, by changing formations, by changing personnel groupings, and making it look different, we can maybe make them get somebody out of position, and we just run the power play. So it's simple for us, but make it look complex and complicated to the defense. Maximize the different looks so we can disguise our simplicity. What base defenses will we face? Our base schemes against base defenses. That's how we find our quarterback movements. How do we take our base run plays and get the quarterback out of the pocket, taking advantage of what the defense is that we're going to face. Number 4, how do they use their safeties, their secondary? And can we get explosive plays in the passing game based on what the secondary is doing against us? So once again, starts with the running game, starts with the mentality, and staying basic and simple, and now looking at the defense, saying, how are they defending us, and how can we use that against them? Okay. So for us, we like to run a lot of unbalanced. And all we're doing is exchanging gaps. Making an extra gap here, taking a gap away there, and coming back and running basic plays for us. So for us, just run the power play. How do we get back here? Oh boy. Okay. Fullback blocks off the edge, double team the first inside defense tackle back to the backside linebacker, pull the backside guard around, pull the backside guard around for the front side linebacker. Power play's been run for forever. Absolutely forever. Get him in unbalanced, hand the ball to a great player, let him do some freaky stuff. Not complicated. Both receivers and tight end on the same side. Tight end base blocks. There we go. Double team the 3 technique, back to the backside backer, pull around for the front side backer, hand the ball to a special cat. Did a little bit more this year, tossing it. Since we had a short edge on the backside, tossing it and letting the quarterback just kind of seal off the backside if any blitzers came back. To get back to the McCaffrey question, he changes speed and tempo as well as anybody I've ever seen. Stop, start, accelerate, break tackles, make people miss. It's fun to watch. Get to it a different way. Leave the tight end backside, shift the tackle over. So now we got a bigger body over there. Especially if you've got a matchup that the tight ends, it's tough for the tight end to win. Hey, let's put a bigger guy over there. Let him handle that on the front side. I love 4-yard gains. It was just the way that I was brought up in this world, and everybody's looking for 70-yard touchdowns. I love 4-yard gains. 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards, 30. So same look. Same look for us now. Now we're running a counter play. And blocking out with a tight end. For most guys on our offense, it's really kind of the same thing. We got double team front side, but now instead of the tight end base blocking or down blocking, now he's going to kick out the defender. Our backside guard, he's just running a counter play. He's going to come back out, kick out the first defender on the line of scrimmage. Our fullback's going to start backside and come back and look for the front side guy. Power and counter, you're only exchanging two guys, guard and fullback. But once again, simple for everybody else, looks a little bit different for the defense. And the Bolt's a great player, let him do what he does. Power, power, power. Oh, counter, looks a little bit different, but for most of our guys, it's the same deal. Exchange of two guys. Tight end steps out, guard kicks out, fullback leads up. Something that we love to do now is power, power, counter, power, lead. We make people, especially in particular backside linebackers and even frontside linebackers, we make them go over the top so much, they're so used to going lateral, then we get them with a fastball coming right downhill. Power, power, counter, power, power, counter, lead. Bunch of different ways to run the lead. Every once in a while we'll pull the backside guard instead of double teaming to the backside linebacker. We'll block back with the center, pull the backside guard for the backside linebacker, lead up on the frontside linebacker with the fullback. Not complicated stuff. Every play that I've shown you has been run since the doggone 40s. Another lead play. Get them to play lateral, get them to play lateral, and then come right downhill. There's another old saying that's gotten lost nowadays sometimes for running backs. Slow to, fast through. Right? Christian's going to run the 4-4s, maybe 4-3. Ran 4-3 for us, may run the 4-4s. You watch how slow and patient he is behind the line of scrimmage. Letting the blocks come. He knows where his eyes are supposed to be. He's reading those two blocks. And when he finds the lane, that's when he accelerates. So many young backs want to get the ball and go 100 miles an hour. Slow to the hole, fast through the hole. Let the play develop, under control. Okay, here we go. And turn it on. This was, I left this on here because I thought it was good. We've done it from different formation and it's worked. This one was an incomplete pass, but I thought it was great because we'd done so much leading up to this game, powers and counters and leads. Oh my, I couldn't pass it up. And then we did a little flea flicker. Kind of off the lead play a little bit and then coming back. Once again, taking a formation that we like, plays that we like, and then developing something to try to hurt the defense on top of that. Bad decision by the quarterback. We gave him two options. We thought we might get the slot defender or the slot receiver up the seam. Safety stayed in the middle. We should have gone back outside with the ball. Gave him two options. Get the ball. He's not there. Come back outside. We made the wrong decision. But the rest of this game, those safeties stayed a little bit softer just because we showed them that we would go deep. Now, power, counter, power, counter, power, counter, lead. Get him to flow, get him to flow. See, we got the, excuse me. Got to the point we did so much. This backside linebacker started the game out here in this bubble, and after about 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 powers and counters, now he's in the front side A gap. He's cheated so far over. We got guys up in the box. That's all we're looking for. Coach, they've over-adjusted. They have? Great. Call the reverse. Hand it to a fast guy. Don't hand the reverse to slow guys. Hand the reverse to fast guys. All right. Excuse me?
When you go into a game, is there a certain number of plays, the run plays you want to run to get accomplished at like 30, 35, or you just got to go with the flow?
We kind of go with the flow, and I learned this from John Gruden. And John Gruden, you always talk about being the son of a running backs coach, right? We get all the publicity for the passing stuff, but John's, one of the things he used to say he was most proud of during his time in the NFL as a play caller, Philadelphia, Oakland, Tampa, he led the league in rushing on first down. Loved to run the football on first down. Now, if you play the whole game the right way, you run the ball on first down, you're efficient, it sets up the play action pass, it sets up your quarterback movement game, and if you get to the fourth quarter with a lead, in particular with a 2-score lead, oh, we're going to make it ugly. So if things go right, we'll run the ball 35 to 40 times. Now, if it's back and forth, hey, we hope to stay more balanced. But I'm the first one, and I will take the moniker of being conservative, throw it on my shoulders, that's great. I've been conservative 3 Pac-12 championships. I'm okay with that, right? So we never really have a number, but if the game goes our way, through the first half, we want to be really balanced run and pass. Really balanced run and pass. We get to the third quarter, and we can hopefully develop some kind of a lead. That fourth quarter, we're going to put on the hard hats. We're going to shorten the game. We're going to make it physical, and hopefully make people leave the game early. I have no pride and ego on running up the score and all the stats. Don't care. Don't care. You give me a 2-score lead in the fourth quarter, yeah, it's going to get nasty. So we try not to put anything on it, because I'd love to, if the game is close, I'd love to be pretty balanced. You know, maybe 55% run, 45% pass. But if we can build a lead, it's going to be 60-40 minimal run to pass. It could be 65-35. Because to me, it's all about winning the football game. You tell the receivers, hey, you want to get a touchdown, get one early. Get them early. You know, don't let them tackle you. Don't let them tackle you. So, yeah, strong side run, strong side run. Got to have a reverse back to the weak side. We've had the same reverse for 6 years. Haven't really changed it. Haven't done anything special with it. We just wait till the right time to call it. Kind of the same thing this game. We had run the ball strong, powers and counters, and even a play action pass out the strong side. And once again, we feel like there's one defender backside. There's one corner backside, because once again, we'd run so many strong side runs, this backside linebacker's starting to creep and cheat and go fast, and fast flow when that guard pulls. We can seal him, hand the ball to the same fast guy. I want to say in 2 years, Bryce Love has 4 touchdowns on reverses. Now, we won't just call it. We want to wait and see it. And even when we do call it in the game, the quarterback has an out. Oh, they were overplaying it. Now there's 2 guys backside. We'll go back to a strong side run. So this, I got to give a lot of credit to our offensive coordinator and offensive line coach, Mike Bloomgren. We do some funky stuff, okay? Call them big people unbalanced. Yeah, just letting this get a chance to visually see this now. It's a legal formation, in case you're wondering. So now all we got is 2 bodies backside. We started with this guy all the way front side and kind of put him back, goes back to the backside to seal off the backside. Now we'll go back to the sideline view. We're about to run the power play, which run into a really, really wide edge, really long edge. But for our guys, it doesn't change. We're double teaming back. We're blocking off the front side with a fullback, pulling the backside guard back around for the front side linebacker. Power play. Once again, how many different looks can we give? How many different ways can we run it? How do we make those 18 to 22-year-olds on the other side react to a formation they've never seen before? So as they're communicating, we hand the ball off and we're just running power. Right? Double team in back, double team in back, double team in here, stepping and hinging, pulling the backside guard for the front side linebacker. It's just power. Different formation, different gap responsibilities for the defense. They have to adjust. And we just run power, looking for a 4-yard gain. Same deal now. We've got the wing back on the front side here, and we have a guard and tackle backside. Whole bunch of guys in the box. Excuse me. Not sure what I did there. Now we just run the counter play back out to the weak side. Run the power play, run the power play, run the power play. Got a guy up in the box, and coach, they are overshifted strong big time. Run the counter play. Excellent. Power and counter, power and counter, power and counter. Greg Roman was our run game coordinator for a couple of years at Stanford. And although a lot of people say that, but his mantra used to always say, hey, numbers and angles. We want to outnumber them and have great angles for our blocks. Numbers and angles. Always looking for numbers and angles. A little different formation now. Now bring the wing back to the other side. Still running a counter play, but it looks a little bit different. It's really the same play. Let me rewind it here a little bit. We just have a wing now. We're running to the counter side. Now instead of the guard blocking this guy, now we're going to double team him back to the next guy. Now the guard's just going to kick out the next guy he sees, and our fullback's going to start strong and come back and take the inside linebacker. Counterplay with an extra double team. Changing 1 or 2 guys, but everybody else is just running counterplay. A lot of guys strong side, run back to the weak side. Stephon Taylor is our all-time leading rusher in the history of the school. Now we're balanced, but we've been running the ball really physically, and now got to have a couple different ways to get the quarterback out of the pocket. They're squeezing, they're squeezing, they're squeezing. Send the wing on the post, have the tight end on our left, run a slam corner, slam them. The guy's been going inside the whole game, trying to chase down the counter play from the backside, get a 20-yard gain. Not trying to make it complicated, not trying to reinvent football, just running our offense and trying to take advantage of what people are trying to do to stop us. That's why the guys in the booth are so important. They know what our counters are. They're just looking at the defense and saying, okay, they're overplaying this way. Or, okay, coach, they're playing goal line defense. Everybody's within 7 yards of the line of scrimmage. Excellent. Play action pass time. Got to run the ball well, got to run the ball efficiently, and got to watch the defense. If they'd stayed deep, we never would have called this play. Coach, they're selling out to the run. Great. Some people call this K4, K5. It's called spider in some deal, power pass. If you run the ball well and run the ball efficiently, and you see teams selling out, great. We'll take advantage of it. We'll kick the ball in the flat, or we'll take the tight end on the 7 cut. at one of these deals, we like to jump the ball periodically. We're not necessarily a spread team or a tempo team, but there are times when, same thing, Coach, we hit that big one on them. Now they've backed off, and we ran the ball about 17 more times. Coach, they're back up again. Okay, great. We jump the ball in a goal line looking offense and run a play action pass, and it's just not fair. We got two guys fighting for the ball. So, I mean, things like this are set up, right? They're set up. And sometimes we'll carry these plays for 6 weeks before we call them. For 6 weeks before we call them. We'll just carry them. We won't call them until we need them, until we see a reason to call them. Okay, so now, be willing to change. From 2009 to 2012, best group of tight ends in America. Not even close. Right, they're all starting the NFL right now. Coby Fleener with the Saints, Colts before, Zach Ertz with the Eagles, Levine Toilolo with the Falcons. All starting tight ends in the NFL. They're on the same team, and those are guys that are making some of those plays. After 2012, really up until now, I believe we're kind of getting back to where we were before. We didn't have the multiple groups of tight ends. So it was hard to run all those plays with 3 tight ends on the field and then have the play action passes. We had to use them with linemen, so we couldn't do as much. 2013, our leading tight end had 5 catches for 45 yards. It's after having 3 NFL starters. That was hard for me. So now, that's when we started to dedicate ourselves to the one-back power game. Still love the power play. We now need to run more of the one-back power, the single-back power. Because we didn't have all the tight ends, we need to use our receivers and spread them out a little bit. Still double teaming back to the backside, still pulling for the front side with the backside tight end. Spread them out a little bit, stacking the receivers on the backside for hopefully some window dressing, and just run the power play. I'm a big proponent. I used to play receiver. I'm a big proponent of, we call it push crack or most dangerous, wherever you want to say on the front side. I'm a big fan of these receivers. When you're blocking a safety, never fronting them up. Gotten a million arguments over it. I'm a big fan of blocking the near shoulder with a receiver on a safety. It gives the running back a one-way go, and that's typically the worst tackler on the defense. We make the halfback bounce outside. When you front up a safety as a receiver, been there before, typically what happens is the running back can get indecisive, and as a receiver, you don't know where the ball's going, and now you're chicken fighting, and you have no idea how to block this guy because you can't see the running back behind you. So invariably what happens is either number one, the running back ends up rolling up the legs of the receiver, or the DB makes the play anyway because he can fake one way, even though the ball's going that way, make the receiver move, and then get by him. Stock blocking corners, hey, man them up, do best you can. Coming in to block safeties, I'm a big fan of blocking the near shoulder because more often than not, this is what happens. If the ball does bounce outside and we can seal the safety, we can make the corner miss and we got a big play. Just my opinion. Single back power play. Double team in the front side, back to 47. Base blocking by the tight end, pulling the backside guard for the front side linebacker. Blocking the safety, make the corner make the tackle. So, just have to take my word for it. We ran that a bunch of times. Just like everything else, though, we got to have plays off of it. If they're going to play too high and try to creep in that 7th defender into the box, we run a version of a power pass, of the play action of power play, so it looks exactly like power, that we take this slot receiver and get him into this window. Backside linebacker, like we talked about before, if he's starting to scrape over the top during the course of the game, and this guy's cheating in after we run about 6 or 7 of these powers, we come back and we stroke the ball in that throwing lane. Yes, sir. The strong side on the power, the run play, we'll change the play. If there's a safety in an unblockable position, we'll change the play or we'll bring the receiver down in motion, one of the two. So we pretty much, we train the quarterbacks to know not everything that's going on in every play, but what makes the play bad. That's a box count play. We got to have 6 in the box. Seventh guy comes in the box on the strong side, we'll get out of it. Or we'll bring the receiver down so we can block him. Good question. It's got to look like the same play. We got to stick the ball in his belly. We're pulling the backside guard, and this guy just can't help himself. He's got to creep back over the top because we've handed off so many. Now we've got a lane to throw the ball backside. One of those things you rep over and over again. We want this seam right here, and if we can't get it, we'll run an outside deep curl. So the quarterback learns to fake it, 1 to 2, and then check the ball down if it's not there. Job coming back to the ball. There's one clip, it's always happens when these plays disappear at times when you're too dependent on technology. There was one more play, and actually I'll go back and at least I'll diagram it for you here. So basically what it was a receiver screen. So we'll do the same thing. We'll pull the backside guard. That's showing up there. Great. Halfback still fake it with the quarterback faking it. The center blocks back. The tackle steps down. The receiver will push up and kick out the corner, and this guy will run the receiver screen. So the center will block back and turn up. The tackle will step down and turn up in the alley. So we'll hand off the power, we'll have the play action pass, and then we have the receiver screen off of it. So once again, taking a basic play and then watching the defense and seeing how they're playing and getting ready for, oh, coach, they're all in the box. We got their screen all day outside. Great. Hey, coach, they're playing too high, but they're cheating. They're cheating with the backside linebacker and cheating with the slot defender. Okay, great, we'll go with the play action pass. So to have something off of a base play action pass, screen, quarterback movement as much as possible. So sorry about that last clip disappearing on us. Clear it out there. So once again, sorry about that last clip disappearing, but that is the end of our session there. Any questions off of anything that you saw there? Questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Question on that last play you just did. You saw the captain out there. Patience you're talking on that rule. Is that what sets that up with that pull from that guard? Is that what the key to this is patience in the back end?
Absolutely. Great question. So our single back power, you'll see our guys from the shotgun step, drop, and wait. That allows the guard to come back up and get in phase. And then we stay on the inside cheek, And the guard's pulling to his right, he expects to block with his right and kick out. So the back knows to stay on that guard's inside cheek, but also not to get too close to him. Distance helps that read. So many young backs, and Christian, his freshman year, he was right up behind those guys. And he was one of those backs that liked to put his hands on the back of the lineman, which is a comfort level for a lot of young backs. Distance helps. So now with some distance, I can see that block, and now I have space to accelerate. So for us too, when we're running the power play from under center, from 7 yards deep, we do the same thing. We slide, we drop, and then we come downhill half speed. So many people's scissors, and for 1 year I was a running backs coach, and we had 4 different footworks for the power play, and we would change them up all the time. So I did a little studying. In the best way, because I had to go through it myself. I played receiver. I didn't understand the visuals. My problem with the scissor, or some people just kind of drop step in place, we tell our guys to get in the A-gap. When I do this and the quarterback reverses out, I can't see the A-gap. I can't see it, the quarterback's in the way. So what happens is now I'm actually going on an angle, because if I come downhill, I'm going to run to the quarterback. So I'm going on a slight angle. Now, if the A-gap shows itself, I got to plant and get back into it, and I'm a split second late. So we do draw footwork. We step into the A-gap and drop. So now I'm looking at the A-gap, and I'm getting the ball from the quarterback. And if that A-gap's there, I don't have to move. I'm going to stay in it. That also helps me as a runner. I get the ball now, and I take my first step downhill. That guard now is clearing that A-gap, and now I'm in phase with his backside hip. So now I can have some distance from him and read his block. Other questions? We have, with those 3 guys behind the quarterback, we have kind of a surprise play and hand off a belly or something. But a lot of times we like to show that and then motion that 3rd guy out and either run it strong or run it weak. So we'll motion that 3rd guy out to build a wing and build an offensive strength. And if we feel like they're overdoing it, we'll run a power pass back out the weak side. If they're staying balanced, hey, we feel like we've just created an edge anyway. If you're staying balanced, hey, we'll just run strong. And of course, we have our play action passes that are out of that also. Yes? From under center or from the gun? From the gun. So once again, trying to teach patience to everybody. So our quarterbacks will receive the ball and set for a second and then hand it. So we try to slow everything down. The linemen are going as fast as they can go. I mean, they're going as fast as they can go. So we got to slow down the real fast guys. So the quarterback now will catch it and hand it. So that works for our play action pass as well. Catch it, stick it, and then come back out. So we take a little bit of time in the backfield. It allows everything to clean up. So that we want those double teams. We got 3 technique. We want to get into that double team. We want to move that human being out of his spot before we get to the backside backer. So we can slow these guys down to let all those blocks develop. Under center for the quarterback, we are reversing and trying to stay on the midline. So yeah, there's a line here you probably can't see, but we try to tell the quarterbacks now, sometimes, especially teaching young quarterbacks, all the high school quarterbacks are coming out from under the gun, from the gun. So we got to teach them back under center. We'll line them up on a line so they learn how to stay on that line and hand the ball to the running backs. Because the big thing is we want him to be in the crack of the center so that the running back can see the A-gap. Because a lot of times we'll have a lot of young guys get a little overzealous and they'll step in the bucket or step in the A-gap, and now that halfback now has to avoid the quarterback. Now he's out of phase with the guard. So it's a big thing for the quarterback to stay on that midline where the ball is snapped and come right back at 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whichever way you look at it, and stay out of the A-gap. Other questions? Questions, comments, concerns? Going once, going twice.
If you pitch it, is it the same step?
For the halfback?
Yeah, no, the quarterback.
So what we'll do with the quarterback when we do pitch it is, which we've had to experiment a little bit. They did it at LSU a whole bunch. The quarterback's got to get the hell out of the way because there's a 315-pound guy pulling. So a lot of times what our quarterbacks would do is they would pitch it and leave their backside foot and trip the guard. So we've got a couple guys that do something a little different. So we got one guy that kind of hops. So he'll catch it, he'll hop out of the way and toss it and seal. Our other guys will just pick up their back foot. So they boom, and get back to the point where they can seal off the backside. And we're not asking our quarterbacks to block necessarily, just get in the way. Just run interference. If we can slow down a backside blitzer just enough for our running back to come downhill, it doesn't take much. Just a hands on the shoulder pad, and we'll get it off. Yes, sir.
With your guard, your lineman is full, walk us through where he's at.
Sure. So I'm a backside guard pulling for a front side linebacker, okay? There's a bunch of different ways we can do this, and once again, I played receiver, but I love the running game. I live in the running game. Spent time with a guy named Bill Callahan, coaches the offensive line for the Redskins, did it for the Cowboys, was for us in Oakland with the Oakland Raiders. He's got to understand what the front is to a certain degree. If there's a three technique over there, he knows he's probably going outside that three technique. Okay? So he's got to know there's a three technique over there based on the front. I see a shade here, there's a three there. So I'm going to be a little bit wider. We also give them a little leeway based on what they can do. Some of these guys are a little bit stiff, but we need them to stay square. We don't like to pull like this, you know, because you got a big, sometimes stiff guy, physical guy. Now, I'm a big fan of saying vectors, because it makes me sound like I'm smart. But what a vector is the momentum, the direction of your momentum, okay? So if my vectors are going this way and I'm 315 pounds and I'm running this way, and now I got to turn, and I got a 240-pound guy who's smaller than me, but his vector is going like this, he's going to win every time. My vector's going this way, his is going this way. So now by us getting a chance to, and some of our guys will skip pull, now as they do that one crossover now, get back over here a little bit, now I can put my right foot in the ground and get my 315 going this way. So now his vector's going this way and mine's going this way, and by physics I'm going to win. So we don't want our guys' shoulders to get turned, we want them to stay square. So we'll kind of skip pull them, get them around there so they can meet that linebacker. What we will say too though is, if he sees any color, like we got a tight end on the down block that's starting to lose, we'll blow up the color. So if the tight end's not getting his block and I'm looking to come insert there, but he's losing his block, hey, I'm going to forget the front side backer. I'm going to hit that guy. So now the running back at least has a lane, and he'll take on that backer by himself. So just talking about where his eyes are going to be. He's looking for a place to insert if it's clean. I'm going to skip pull. I'm going to come back around. It's not clean. I'm hitting the other color. It is clean. I'm getting my vectors going north and south. And I'm going to pop that inside linebacker. And if I can, pulling right, block with my right shoulder to kick him out. Other questions? Awesome. In time for the basketball game. Thanks, fellas.